Hello, and welcome to the very first edition of Janus Midnight Rambles. The story I'm going to tell you is Neta's first spell. It was week 4 of Wicca 101, and we were sitting in Neta's living room, also known as the Witch's Cottage in the Redwoods. It was the session titled How to Do Spells. Neta was going to tell us the story of her first spell, and I was very excited and looking forward to it because it's one of my favorites. Neta was the high priestess of Greenheart Grove, an Irish eclectic teaching coven, and she had dubbed me also high priestess. Training new witches was our contribution to the beloved community of our shared vision, a more just and peaceful world. Neta, who was from North Carolina, liked to explain the connection between witchcraft and social activism like this. There's more than one way to skin a cat. She had a way with telling stories, and this was a great one. Personal and academic integrity were foundational principles for us at Greenheart Grove. We changed our teaching materials when we became aware of new information, and in knowing Neta for over 25 years, she never lied to me. I wasn't present when these events happened. They came about before I knew her, but after knowing her, working so closely with her, and knowing her for so many years, I believe that this story unfolded pretty much the way she told it, which was like this. So, here's how I did my first spell. It surprised me when my teacher Kat called me from work. Even more surprising was the reason she called me. She said she needed magical help. Well, I thought I would be the last person she would call. I was a brand new witch, just barely initiated, and I had never done a spell. But she said to me, Neta, I need your help. Well, I already knew about Kat's work situation. Her big boss liked her, but her immediate supervisor, Jackie, didn't. Kat had told me that her manager, Jackie, was out to get her, and she was not one to exaggerate. Kat went on to tell me that her boss had gone out of town for a few days. She said she was due for a performance review, and her manager had let her know it had been scheduled for that morning. She said, I know she'd never give me a bad review if the boss was in town. Obviously, she's taking advantage of her absence. Who knows what she has planned? I need you to do a spell. But I said, I've never done a spell. Kat said, I know, but you can do this. Everybody else is working. You're the only one that's retired. You're the only person I can call right now. Tag, you're it. Besides, there's no one I would trust to do this more than you. I said, you're kidding. She said, no, I'm not. You're the most serious student I've ever had. You know your stuff. My review is in about an hour. Are you on it? Well, I was afraid I wasn't up to the task, but what could I say? When the goddess calls, you have to answer. So I thought about saying, well, Kat, I'll try, but I knew better than that. That went against my training. Words matter. So I said, Kat, I will do my best. She told me she couldn't ask for any more than that. So we hung up, and I dug my notes from my class on spellcasting out and looked at them. Then the first thing I did was fill the bathtub with warm water and pour in some Epsom salts. Then I noticed a little bag that somebody had given me as a gift for my initiation. It was a muslin bag filled with rosemary and lavender. They're cleansing herbs, so I put them in my cleansing bath too. And I got in the tub and soaked and relaxed, got focused and centered, got out and air dried, and then I put on nothing except my initiation robe. By then it was almost time for a cat's performance review to start. So I grabbed a candle and I picked up a piece of tiger's eye for manifestation, a piece of black tourmaline for protection, and clear quartz for manifestation. So I set them up on the table and I put a circle of table salt around for even more protection. I hadn't had time to write up a spell, let alone make up a rhyme in one. I would have to wing it. But my class notes said the most important thing about casting a spell is intention. 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 So there was nothing left for me to do but the spell and trust the goddess. I ignited the candle and put on a tape of some meditation music with just a little beat to it. Then I started to say some words about my intention for the spell, about the higher good being served, truth and justice and protection and all that good stuff for Kat. And then I started to dance around and chant. I did that for a while. After about 10 minutes, I noticed that candle had barely begun to burn down. Now, Kat had taught us that the spell is done when the candle goes out. So I knew this would be a very long spell. This is a common beginner's mistake. We'll talk about shopping for spell candles in a little bit. So after chanting and dancing for a while, I sat down to meditate, and I visualized Kat being happy and successful at work, and it felt like the flame was soaking up the energy of my intentions like a sponge. I mean, every vibration of every thought. And I kept that going for a while, and I kind of began to wonder how I was going to keep my focus long enough for all that wax to burn down. Looked at the candle, and suddenly it bent over and went out. And the strangest thing was, it was pointing in the direction of Kat's office. Well, that was so strange. I was sitting there trying to take it all in, and a couple of minutes the phone rang. It was Kat, and she was saying, "What did you do?" "Just what you taught me," I said. "What happened?" She chuckled. "Well, Jackie called me into her office for the review. She had her paperwork all put together and was looking like the cat that had eaten the canary. I could feel her getting ready to lay into me. She opened a folder and started to hand me my copy of the paperwork when suddenly she had to excuse herself for a moment. "Tell me, Neta, what were your exact words?" Well, I told her the part about protection and truth and justice, and then I added, well, I was dancing around and chanting, "May any harm sent to Kat be returned to sender." Her chuckle turned into a laugh, and she said, Did I do good? Neta, you did better than good. You did perfect. I did? Oh yeah. What she was getting ready to put out there got sent to her first. Cat started laughing again, and when she got it together enough to talk, she finished the story. So I was sitting there waiting for her to come in and lower the boom. Pretty soon somebody stuck their head in there and said my review would have to be rescheduled. Guess why? Why? Because Jackie had a sudden, sorry about that, because Jackie had a sudden case of diarrhea and had to go home to change her clothes. She started laughing again, and I said, what? Oh my goddess, you mean? Exactly, Neta. What she was directing at me was pure shit. So that's what she got. So much of it that she had to go home and wash it off. And that, my friends, is how Neta used to introduce new witches to the power of spellcasting. Thanks for finding me here on my Patreon page. And while you're here, if you happen to enjoy what I do, please feel free to chip in just a couple bucks, whatever you can afford a month, and I would appreciate it. But whatever, it's up to you. Lots of love. Thanks for watching.